Hello, folks, and welcome back to yet another adventure deep in the bayou of the Honey Island Swamp. I am Matthew J. Blanchard, one half of the Brothers Blanchard, your host on this journey. With me, as always, is my brother,
Patrick J. Blanchard,
the man responsible for us watching this movie. But,
I mean, I'll totally take the accolade for that.
yeah, the accolades, the cheers for watching Hatchet. Okay. Well, before we get into the movie itself, though, I thought it might be interesting to talk about some stuff that happened this week that you may or may not know, because we're a small outfit, folks. We don't get a lot of fan mail. I mean, how many pieces of fan mail have you gotten?
I have gotten none.
None, exactly. I technically haven't gotten any fan mail either, but we did get an email.
Ooh,
We did, all the way from the great white north of Canada.
man, and it is post-Canadian season here in Virginia Beach.
It is post-Canadian season. A lot of Canadian tourists do come down here and hang out during the summer. So we got an email from a gentleman named Matt Frame in Vancouver, Canada, British Columbia. Although he does not say that in his email. I'm expressing some knowledge I have. You know, that's the place where they make them TV shows and stuff. Both Canadian and American.
It's where Jason Voorhees took a cruise to.
It is where Jason Voorhees took a cruise to. You are exactly right. It's also where the Flash hangs out. And the Arrow.
Duncan MacLeod.
Duncan MacLeod, the Clown MacLeod. Hi. So Matt Frame from Vancouver, he reached out to us to let us know that he found us because of our Friday the 13th reviews. Particularly our Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, not in 3D. And Matt's writing us because he has done something that we've talked about, you know, we would love to do, but he took the plunge. He did it. He made a movie.
Kudos, Matt.
Right? He made a campy horror parody. And he sent us the trailer to take a look at. It's called Camp Death 3 in 2D.
Ooh.
Right?
Clever.
Like, I see why he reached out to us because
Yes.
of our 3D in not in 3D in 3D jokes. Clearly, he saw that we were as punny as he is. So he decided to reach out to us to see if we'd be willing to take a look at the film, take a look at the trailer, talk about it a little bit. Full disclosure, we have not yet taken a chance to watch the movie, though we will. But as small creators, I definitely felt we should give Matt a shout out and a thank you for reaching out to us, and tell you a little bit about his film. From what we've been able to glean from his trailer, it is definitely a parody film.
It can't be sent up.
Exactly. I mean,
In the best of ways.
In the best of ways. In the best of ways. Like you would not expect there to be a lightsaber duel in the middle of an actual Friday the 13th movie.
No.
But it fits perfectly fine in the middle of this trailer, and the tone of the trailer is excellent. He describes the movie as crass, dumb, juvenile, ridiculous, and hilarious. Which, by the way, great description. Also, yeah. I think that describes us. I think we have similar sensibilities, this Matt Frame and us.
I'm totally brass.
You brass?
Brash?
He said crass.
Oh, crash. Damn.
It's a whole different word.
Darn it.
Right. Yes. So, having watched the trailer, just to let you know, it's a little off the rails. Like the wackiness of the premise is pushed very, very quickly. But there is, I think, my favorite joke in a parody trailer I think I've ever heard. You chuckled at this as well. The narrator of the trailer is going kind of through the layout of what's going on and, you know, cracking some jokes. And towards the end, he says, "If you have not chuckled, do not watch this movie." seriously, if you haven't chuckled yet, do not see this film. It will disturb you. Which I thought that was just a brilliant little touch.
It totally got chuckles out of me.
Totally. So again, the title of this movie, so that you can look it up. The trailer is on YouTube. Is Camp Death 3 in 2D, and you can find them on their Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/campdeath. So if you're on Facebook, look for Camp Death. If you're on YouTube looking for something to watch, Camp Death 3 in 2D. From our apparent listener, Matt Frame. Matt, congratulations on getting your film done. I hope that you get lots of attention from a lot of people, and we will check it out as soon as we can, and maybe throw a review up on the movie arc.
Totally down with that.
Right? So yeah, review possibly coming soon. But there's stuff in the offing, folks. We have plans for this deep dive franchise. But for right now, we're gonna dive right back into the Bayou.
Hello and welcome back to the Honey Island Swamp Tours. Where we're going to take you down deep into the bayou. I'm your host, Patrick J. Blanchard, and with me is my co-host, my co-pilot, my navigator, my helm.
Okay, that's a lot of titles. I am Matthew J. Blanchard, and I'm helping you travel these swampy waters of the Hatchet movies. Ugh. So here we are. It's week 3 of the Honey Island Swamp Tour.
Honey Island Swamp Tours.
Deep dive on the Hatchet series. And this is the last one, right? This is the last Hatchet. We're done, right?
This is the last
Sweet. What are we doing next week?
Hatchet movie.
Right. So this is the last Hatchet movie. What are we doing next week?
I don't know. Something called Victor Crowley.
Oh, shit. That's... Okay. All right, but let's talk about old Hatchet Face. How's he doing? Is everything good?
Well,
when last we left him, he was getting blown the fuck up.
It was poor. Like he was syrup faced and
got blasted in the face with a rifle.
Blowed up. It's now a couple years later in the real world,
right? But in the movie world, is it a couple years later?
No, it's gonna pick up. It's gonna pick up right where it left off again. Like this is like the longest 3 days.
No, it's not.
No, it's not because they're only like.
I'll raise you a Friday the 13th part 3 through 5. I mean, no, 2 through 5.
2 through 4.
Technically. You got to go all the way to the beginning of 5 with that little flashback scene.
Yeah, it's a dream.
Is it? Is it?
We
don't know.
It's when he, we're not. Oh, so now we're going to talk about Friday 5. Did you hear that, folks? Those of you who went through Camp Crystal Lake Revisited, now's when he busted out from the get-go. Well, let's bring it out right now. It's all Friday the 13th up in here in the Honey Island Swamp Tour.
I mean, it might as well be. I mean, Adam Green really desperately wants to make a Friday movie. Why don't they just let him?
I could talk about the lawsuits, which I've covered profusely in the past.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, he wrote he wrote the game.
He did write a bunch of dialogue for the game. He wrote all of the Tommy Jarvis stuff.
Yes, he did. He also wrote dialogue for the mobile game too. Ironically enough, but no. So, Hatchet 2 was a thing.
Hatchet 2 was a thing.
So now we got to make a Hatchet 3.
We got to make a Hatchet 3, but we're gonna do things a little differently this time.
Why? Things worked out so well last time.
Adam Green is stretched really thin at this point.
Okay.
He's writing season 2 of Holliston.
Well, that's important because season 2 of Holliston is glorious.
He's prepping it for filming.
Prepping it for filming.
No, prepping.
Oh,
no,
prepping Holliston.
Holliston.
I was like, he did that It remake? It's amazing. Oh no, he didn't.
So this is the first one not directed by Adam Green. It's written by Adam Green, produced by Adam Green. Adam Green is down in the bayou while it's being shot,
Right.
but he's not directing it.
Right.
He's actually sitting in his hotel room typing out Holliston pages.
So, okay. So he's letting somebody else direct it, which I do believe I will probably comment on at the end, because frankly, it shows in a good way.
He is.
And spoiler alert, folks! This is the Hatchet movie that looks the most like a movie, like a made for cinemas movie, like a movie, like a real movie.
But he does not go outside of the crew family.
Right. No.
He hands over directing duties to B.J. McDonnell,
Yes.
who has been the Steadicam camera operator for the 2 preceding films.
Yes.
So it's somebody who is aware specifically of camera movements through the preceding movies and how the movie should look.
Yes. But not necessarily how the movies ended up looking. Almost like he was one of the camera guys and not an editor.
Yes.
Like he knew knows what was shot.
Yes.
Doesn't necessarily realize what was released.
So
I'm just
this
saying,
movie
like, maybe bad editing choices were made.
This movie shoots on location in Louisiana.
Yes, 100%.
There are some shots that happen in California.
Yes,
after the
but
fact.
not nearly as many as
No.
say in parts 1 and 3.
Which,
And 1 and 2.
Which leads to a bunch of unique problems involving moisture and bugs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At one point, Adam tweeted that he had 48 chicker bites on his legs. They shot a bunch of night shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Night shoots. So, but anybody who lives in the South, and we live at the beginning of the South here in Virginia,
Yes.
knows that in a swamp, because you're shooting in a swamp,
Yeah.
at night it's gonna have bugs. Like they
Yes.
were very naive in going and shooting this movie.
Yeah, they were. But, they had a plan, they went with it. And that's what you do. That's how movies work.
Personal tie to this
Yeah.
is we met Danielle Harris about a month before she went down to shoot this movie.
Oh, wow.
When we met her in April of 12.
She was just a month away from going to be Mary Beth once again.
That was one of the
That was one of the questions you asked her, though.
that was one of the questions I asked her.
And she didn't tell you that it was a month away from starting production.
No, but I have since followed up on the internet, so I know.
Right.
But she said it was coming up soon.
Yes, indeed. She's not lying.
Yes.
She was not lying when she said it was coming up soon. It did. Much sooner than we were led to believe. Yeah. And, what a movie it is.
Interesting thing, in very many ways, since I watched them so close together this time,
Right.
is it's interesting that the humor and the humorless grace, or the humorful grace of Hatchet,
Yeah.
is slowly pulled away from Hatchet 2.
Yeah.
And suddenly we've got a movie here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the layers of the onion have been peeled away.
And finally, at the center, there's actually a goddamned movie. One movie. One movie worth of story here. Maybe 2. Could there be 2? Could there be a follow-up good Hatchet movie? Maybe someday. Maybe.
Maybe
see.
because at this point in time, Adam said he was done.
Right?
After 3, he's done. But that doesn't mean that Victor Crowley is done.
That's true.
He did go on record saying perhaps other people can present their visions as well.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. We'll see.
This is true.
This was
So
6 years ago.
yes, and someone did present their own vision of Victor Crowley going forward. And we'll talk all about that next week. But this week, we're rounding out a trilogy. A very odd trilogy.
Very uneven.
Very uneven.
From a young director
Yeah.
to a young director writer to
An established writer, young director.
yes.
All right, so let's dive right in, all right?
It's going to take place. It's going to pick up at a different point this time, right?
Yes, it is going to pick up at a different point because it won't pick up at the end of Hatchet 1. It'll pick up at the end of Hatchet 2, which is technically a different point.
I really got to work on my semantics.
Yeah, you do. So after blasting Crowley's face open with a rifle, he reforms and attacks Mary Beth. And she starts
Right before I have this is my note. Can I give my note?
sure.
Crowley does the Myers sit-up.
He does do the Myers sit-up. That's fair. He does do a Michael Myers sit-up. I'll grant that. And
Gets up and after attacks Mary Beth.
yeah, so she goes after his face again. Like she just starts stabbing him in the face and shooting him in the face, and then knocks him backwards onto the two-man chainsaw, which for some reason is turned on. He didn't turn it on, she didn't turn it on, but it's on.
I think he falls in such a way. No, because they got a ripcord that starts those things.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I had a reason.
There's no logical reason except that there is a giant chainsaw, so they want to use the giant chainsaw.
Yes.
And it cuts Victor Crowley in half, splattering his blood all over Mary Beth. Cue industrial metal music. Movie begins.
Yes.
The montage is now the bayou. And it's not even a metal montage. It's actually a score piece here.
Yeah.
Like it should be the metal montage. Why isn't it? It's not. It's weird. It's like it's a different movie or some shit.
It's like it's got a different director.
Right? So Mary Beth walks into town. The same long ass walk she took at the beginning of 2, she takes again.
And here's the thing. Mary Beth is a short little girl. It's going to take her like a week to get there.
Right?
But no, it's just a day.
It's not even a day. It's the morning when she gets there.
We also get the continuation of the Adam Green story.
We do get the continuation of the Adam Green story because Mary Beth goes to the sheriff's station. The sheriff's station, which is taking on overflow jail cells for people who have been arrested during Mardi Gras.
Like they are in Jefferson Parish.
Yes.
They are outside of New Orleans proper. Adam Green is seen bustled into jail.
Yep.
Saying he gets a line. In the movie he doesn't direct. He gets a line. I think that's a cagey writer there.
Yes, indeed.
It's saying he should have gone on the swamp
Should have
tour.
gone on that swamp tour.
However, as an audience member, no, Adam Green.
No, Adam, that would be a bad idea. You should not have gone on that fucking swamp tour. So yeah, everything's going. Everything in this sheriff station is fine. Sheriff Fowler, who is Zach Galligan, he's hanging out. He's
Nary a mogwai to be
nary
seen.
a mogwai to be seen. Everything's good in everybody's life. When the door bursts open, in walks this short woman covered in blood, carrying a rifle and carrying the fucking scalp of Victor Crowley, saying, "I killed him. I killed him." So obviously, Mary Beth gets arrested.
Yes.
and immediately hosed down and thrown
First
into
blood
jail.
style.
First blood style, indeed. And then thrown in a jail cell where Sheriff Fowler comes to sort of question her about what's going on, and she explains the plot of Hatchets 1 and 2, which is the best meta joke in the entire franchise. When he describes, so you escaped this killer and you got a gang of hunters together and you went back into those woods? That is the most contrived piece of logic I have ever heard.
Cut to a shot of Adam Green, director.
Immediately cut to a shot of Adam Green having a reaction like, "What?" It's amazing. It's a grace note in a movie that doesn't deserve to have grace notes.
If you remember, when this hit Blu-ray, DVD, I went out and rented it the day it hit.
Uh-huh.
And knowing at that point that you were still not a fan of these movies, after I watched that scene, I rewound it and I was like, "Hey, you have to watch this. You have to watch this bit from Hatchet 3." And you're like, "No, I don't want to watch anything from Hatchet 3."
I don't have anything to do with Hatchet 3.
And I'm like, "No, you really want to see this 45-second
clip.
bit?"
Yes, indeed. And it's hilarious. It's, like I said, it's a grace note in a movie that doesn't deserve to have them. Because it's really not worth it. Meanwhile, Fowler has dispatched people to Honey Island.
Yeah, to try to verify the story.
And while he's questioning Mary Beth, moving on from the Adam Green bit, which is hilarious.
Oh, my God.
He gets calls that there's a fucking bloodbath. There's bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
So Fowler needs to go and join the team at Honey Island. On his way out
Yeah.
is when his ex-wife Amanda Fowler shows up. She's a local reporter who is somewhat obsessed with Crowley, proving his existence, that kind of thing. And she's been listening to the chatter on the police band,
Which she's not supposed to have.
which she's not supposed to have. And she's not actually with the sheriff anymore. And we get our first reference to Arwen, Adam Green's dog.
Yes.
Who becomes much more prominent a figure in the next movie, but is very much a figure here. Amanda Fowler, who is Caroline Williams from, God, why am I blanking on it?
I don't know. I looked her up on the internet.
She's from a horror movie. I just can't remember what. I'll look it up while we continue. So Fowler heads off to the woods, and this is where we get kind of a unique thing in the in the Hatchet movies. Instead of one main plot, we have two. We have an A story and a B story getting set up here.
We actually have an A, B, and C.
We don't really have a C. We
it-
have eventually a sort of sub A. When I presume you're talking about when the paramedics get there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's still technically part of the A plot. It's sort of the placeholder for Fowler before he gets there.
It almost seems like it's different though.
It does, but I think that's because of what it is, and we'll get there in a second. We'll tell the audience. Caroline Williams, here she is. I've got her IMDb page. Yeah, Texas 2. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And Halloween 2. The Rob Zombie
Zombie,
Halloween
yeah.
2. So she's done a lot of stuff. That's where I know her from. Yes, indeed. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. She's Stretch.
Folks, I'm going to make a confession to you.
You haven't seen it.
I have never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Gotcha. She's also a reporter in Leatherface.
I have never seen Leatherface.
So yeah, the trend of pulling genre people into the film is kind of it kind of reaches its height here. Like, you thought 2 was full of genre actors. Then 3 comes out.
Then 3 comes out, and
Yeah.
right off the bat, we've already talked about him. We got Zach.
Galligan, yeah. We've got Caroline Williams. We've got coming up. We've got some other cameos that maybe we don't. Well, I mean, we're not doing a real plot corner here because there's not a lot.
Yeah.
Sid Haig. We've
Yeah.
got
Derek
Mears, which is my personal favorite appearance. We've got Sean Whalen. We've got a lot of genre actors. Yeah, a fair bit.
And we finally got cross-cutting.
We do.
Between locations.
We do, and it's amazing. So basically what we have here are Amanda, the reporter, convinces Deputy Winslow to let her spend a little time with Mary Beth in the prison cell.
Wow.
So, because she believes that she knows how to end the curse. So we'll have an A plot, which is what's going on in Honey Island Swamp. And that will be the police, then the paramedics, then a SWAT team versus Victor Crowley in what is the single largest body count of the entire franchise.
Yes.
I've read an estimate online that it's something like 40 people, all told.
Yeah, I buy it.
In this movie alone.
Yeah.
And this movie says that they found 40 bodies from the previous 2. So, to make of that what you will. But what you get here, and it has the least, of the 3, it almost has the least plot. Because once you set up those 2 things, you're on those 2 rails, and there's no real progression. So Amanda convinces Winslow to let Mary Beth out of jail, so they can go to Sid Haig, who is the nephew of Thomas Crowley,
Yes.
to get Thomas Crowley's ashes, so they can have Mary Beth deliver the ashes to Victor Crowley and end the curse.
Because all he wants is his daddy.
Right.
That's his siren call.
But that through line for the B story is described almost in exacting detail at the 20-minute mark of the movie.
Yes.
And then that plays out for the rest of the movie without any deviation from it. There's no complications to it. It just happens. We're told what's going to happen, and it happens. So it's not a very elegant B-plot. It's not a very well-structured B-plot. But it's there, and it allows us to cut back and forth and pace things a little differently,
Yes.
which is a good thing. And once Fowler goes to Honey Island, nothing changes there except more people show up to get killed, which is also fine.
After a bunch have been killed because he doesn't show up right away.
Right, exactly.
He shows up mid-massacre.
Exactly. I've basically, if you look at my notes, the first half the page is where we're at. I break it down into the 2 A and B plots, and then the rest is just a list of how all these people die. And that's everybody. That's how everybody dies. And there's no more plot progression until the end of the movie when, surprise, surprise, Mary Beth shows up with the ashes.
I like when the paramedics show up.
Yes,
Because
which is kind of the first. That's the first real thing that happens in the swamp that we see happen in the swamp. Everything else happens over the radio.
Yeah.
The EMTs show up, and there's a team of them, and one of them is again Perry Shen. Perry Shen, who is the star of this fucking franchise. If you don't know it, you're not paying attention.
I mean, sure, Mary Beth Dunson has way more screen time
Sure.
in these 3 movies.
Sure, in these 3 movies. But Perry Shen is the star of this fucking franchise.
His character's name this time is Andrew.
Andrew Young. And he is unrelated to Sean and Justin. There's a whole team of them. The only one who's really like a relevant name is Sean Whalen, the actor.
Yes.
Who is he's the person who actually does like autopsies and cuts stuff up and figures things
Yes.
out.
They bring him.
They bring him the bodies to look at. And there is a wonderful moment with him and Perry Shen where he comments that there are two guys who look just like him. And obviously this is a reference to the two characters that Perry Shen has played, but it's just hand-waved away with a what? Because we're all Asian, because we all look alike to you joke, which is amazing.
Watch the shrimp fried rice.
And then we just move forward.
And just move on.
Move on.
Like, it's done.
Except we go even further with some weirdness on it in Victor Crowley, which I just love. I love. We make it weirder. Okay, so...
But they bring the body and some of his weaponry.
Indeed.
And Sean Whalen's character is told to do the autopsy on this one first.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And the one he's told to do the autopsy on first is...
Victor Crowley.
Victor Crowley himself.
Because they bring back this big-ass body bag.
Big-ass fucking body bag. And which means that Randy, the Sean Whalen character, is, of course, the first one to die. And he kicks off a lengthy streak of death. He is electrocuted with defibrillators. EMT Hamilton has his head cut off. A fireman gets his arm ripped off. A paramedic gets hacked open at the chest. Another fireman gets disemboweled. Another paramedic gets kind of his head slammed onto a tree root, so that the root impales him. And that's when the SWAT team shows up. The SWAT team led by Derek Mears.
Officer Haas.
Tyler Haas. Then and that's also when Fowler shows up, right around the same time.
Yeah.
And this combined unit of SWAT team and cops goes to the Crowley house. And that's when shit really opens up. One deputy is speared through a wall. Deputy Elbert is ripped in half. One cop is beheaded with a hatchet. There's actually a hatchet in Hatchet III. Hey. SWAT guy gets a hatchet to the head. Another SWAT guy gets his leg chopped off. Another one gets a hatchet to the chest. Another gets his head stomped in, which is a thing now. I don't like the head stomp in effects. They never look realistic.
No.
Then Tyler Haas and Victor Crowley go head to head. So Jason versus Jason. The two most iconic Jasons, kind of, in my opinion. Because Derek Mears in the reboot kind of picked up on the thread of everything every Jason had done and made it his own in a way that made him iconic fast. But no one's more iconic than Kane Hodder. So here we have Jason versus Jason.
So finally, Victor Crowley's going to claim himself another icon actor.
He is. And he's going to do that by pulling Tyler Haas's spine and skull out of his body through his back. Hey! Fun.
Deputy Cody has had enough.
Yeah.
I love when Deputy Cody has enough and brings out the RPG.
Schneiderman. Schneiderman, who is Dee Snider's son, Cody Blue Snider, in his second appearance in a Hatchet movie. Because his first appearance was as the young Samson Dunstan in number 2.
Yeah.
So we've had this sort of... He's actually one of the few characters who's developed in this film. He knows the story. He has no tolerance for anybody saying that this is not real. He has no bullshit.
He's come in armed to the teeth.
He is armed to the teeth. He is not going to be dealing with fucking... he has no chill.
He has no... He's the one that finds the hanging balls from the preceding movie. And there are balls hanging from the tree.
Yeah.
That guy knows what's up.
So he's the audience's release valve when it gets fucking strange.
He is ours.
So he flips out, and he goes and gets his fucking rocket launcher.
Like, he's got an RPG, man.
And that's when Officer Rick takes a rocket to the face.
Like, and he doesn't care.
And he doesn't care. In fact, Schneiderman is happy. That explosion was awesome. And then he gets a hatchet to the back. Then he gets his limbs ripped off, and then he gets stomped into the mud. Like, Schneiderman gets overkilled. And then there's a paramedic running into the swamp to get away from it all. Slams into a boat. And in that boat, popping up because he slammed into the boat, is Ben from Hatchet 1. Ben is fucking alive. It's only been 2 days. He has not died from his injuries. He's just been floating in this fucking boat for 2 days.
I understand it's been 6 years in our world.
Right.
But it's only been 2 days.
He could easily still be alive. Had the paramedics gotten to him and gotten him out. Had they found Ben before they found Crowley, Ben would have lived. He would have been missing an arm, but he would have lived. Instead, he gets an axe to the face and delivers the second of his own, but the third in the franchise.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
He kind of gurgles it, which I love. And then the paramedic gets eaten by a fucking alligator.
Yes. Doesn't even get
Crowley.
Doesn't get Crowley.
Ben gets double Crowleyed. And then the paramedic gets eaten by an alligator. It's fucking great. And Fowler, Andrew, and the female SWAT officer Doherty go back to the EMT boat.
Yes.
And they call for National Guard and air support. Because Victor Crowley is attacking the boat in such a way that the boat is shaking and it's incredible.
Yeah. Hey, folks, if you've been following along with us, I have often said what the name of these movies should be.
Yeah.
Have we seen My Friend yet?
No, we have not.
Are
we about to?
Oh, God, yes.
Yes, we are. Because Victor Crowley is going to start trying to belt sand a hole in the hull of the boat to get to everyone who is hiding inside while they are waiting for the fucking air support that they just called for. Finally, we get to the B plot actually progressing. We're going to hop over there for a second because they drove all the way to Sid Haig's house. Sid Haig, who is a very racist caricature, I will say, to get Thomas Crowley's ashes. Sid Haig playing the character of Abbott McMullen. They get the ashes and they drive all the way back to Honey Island Swamp. So Crowley has now created a hole in the hull. And Mary Beth, Amanda, and Winslow are screaming and causing a distraction. There's chaos happening.
Like the sheriff hears his wife calling his name.
Exactly.
Which is his impetus for moving away from the protective spot that he has in the boat.
Yes. Andrew, on the other hand, is urging everyone to just hide. Just hide.
That's how he survived.
That's how he survived before.
He hid under another body.
Right. So the hole gets belt sanded. Fowler gets pulled through it. His head gets pulled through it. He gets gored and decapitated.
Yes.
Doherty tries to reach for Fowler's gun. And the whole time, Andrew's like,
"No,
don't do it.
Don't do it. No,
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop." And it's fucking amazing.
It's great. Perry Shin.
Yes.
If you are listening, and I hope you are.
God, I hope you are.
You
are the bright shining star in this entire fucking franchise. And I've not really enjoyed any of these movies. So
you were awesome in The New Guy.
Yes, you were awesome in The New Guy, sir. You really were. You made number one bearable, and I don't like number one. You made number 2 okay, and I don't like number 2. You made this movie fun. I love this movie. Like, this is finally the one I actually enjoy. And a lot of it is because of Perry Shen. He's just so fucking funny.
He is.
So Doherty gets yanked through the hole and gets body parts thrown back through, but we don't ever actually see what happened to her. And then we don't see Perry Shen again.
No.
Because Victor Crowley goes to deal with Mary Beth Winslow and Amanda. Winslow gets his chest ripped open.
Yeah.
Fowler gets his head ripped off. And then we get some. And we get Crowley and Mary Beth round 3.
He's so big.
And
She's so
she-
little.
Yeah.
It's disproportionate to lot.
It really is. It really is. So she literally like bashes him with the ashes of his own father. She shoots him with the gun again. He lifts her up and slams her onto a tree knot.
It's like sideways.
It goes through her
Guts.
Yeah.
Like, and he starts to melt
He does. He does start to melt.
because
and
he's finally he's found his daddy.
he's done. It's over. The curse is lifted. He found his dad.
He's melting. The helicopters are circling. They've arrived. Too late.
Far too late. She gets a gun. She holds it on the melted Crowley, and she's expecting him to come back, and she keeps saying that, and he doesn't, and he doesn't, and the credits start.
The credits start right before it is. She does she's got a hole in her guts.
Yes.
And she's doing that slow death gasp. And it's getting longer and longer. And right when the credits break, they hold on her. She's dead, man.
Well, I don't know about that. But...
I know that she was intended to be dead.
Right. Right.
The internet saved Mary Beth.
Well, I mean, hold on. First off, intention and actual result are not the same thing. Okay, so because it was intended to be so doesn't mean it's what actually happened. Otherwise, Ash woke up in a post-apocalyptic future and didn't work at S-Mart.
However,
Because that was the intent.
at the end of this movie, though,
Yeah.
she's dead.
Yeah, as far as we can tell,
Yeah.
she is dead. Doesn't mean she is. Doesn't mean she is. All right, so that is the end of Hatchet 3. Best kill.
See, this one, I don't know because I was actually watching the movie.
Right? Yes.
Like
yes.
I got what I want. I mean, I like the first one a lot, and I sit through the second and tolerate it a lot.
Right.
But this one, like, there's a movie around all these kills,
There is a movie around
and
all
I
these kills.
get wrapped up in that movie each time. So much so that I kind of forget what the kills are. I
Right,
mean,
right.
you've said what they are, but it's not. I don't see them like
Right.
I do.
Except
Except the massacre on the ambulance boat.
Right. Yes.
Sean Whalen may be my favorite kill. Oh no, or Derek Mears.
Derek. Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
he-
the
the
death of
pop.
Tyler Hawes is my favorite as well. I mean, literally, original Jason. I mean, not original, but old school, most iconic Jason.
Yeah.
Literally leaves the modern Jason spineless.
You know what I really.
I mean, that's just as a metaphor. That's great, but also, it's pretty effective. It's not flaying Candyman alive effective, but it's good.
You know what I really enjoy.
Yeah,
So out of these 3 movies, he's taken out a lot of icons.
he has.
He ain't touched a single Michael Myers.
No, he has not. Nor will he. Wait.
No, nor will he, because this is the end of the oeuvre.
Yeah, this is it.
This is the last Hatchet movie.
But that's right. So what are we doing next week again?
Some movie called about this guy called Victor Crowley.
God damn it! Stop doing that. That's code for this. That's code for Hatchet 4.
No,
I
man.
don't
No,
want
man. The
Hatchet.
next movie is about this dude called Victor Crowley.
So's this movie.
No. This is about a hatchet.
About a hatchet-faced boy named Victor Crowley. Don't lie to me.
This is a movie about 3 hatchets: Hatchet 1, Hatchet 2,
and Hatchet
3.
Right.
Or as I like to call them, double-bladed axe, and a hatchet.
No. Because there is a hatchet in Hatchet 2, and there's 2 hatchets in Hatchet 3.
Oh, so it's axe, hatchet, and Hatchet 2.
No. One of the hatchets from Hatchet 1 somehow got stuck in Hatchet 3. Or it's Hatchet is like a prequel. Hatchet 2 is really the first hatchet, and Hatchet 3 is the second hatchet. And it's just so 0 hatchets, 1 hatchet, 2 hatchets.
Because you got to start at 0.
Right, yeah.
You can't start at 1.
Exactly.
I don't have a worst kill.
I do. The Officer Rick getting killed with a rocket is kind of pointless.
Yeah, but there gives the house explosion and the house drops on Crowley.
Right, the house explosion is... You could have done that without the death of Rick, and it wouldn't have mattered. That's why it's pointless. That's why I don't feel it's necessary. Whether the rocket just misses Crowley and blows up the house, or hits Rick, it doesn't matter. The effect is still the house blows up and takes Crowley with it. And then it doesn't.
Well, yeah, because Kane Hodder can survive having houses dropped on him. I've seen that before.
Exactly. But so that's why it's the worst kill, because it's pointless. It doesn't affect anything. But yeah, that's it. I honestly have to say that this is a much more cohesive film. I like it more. I enjoy myself more. I get caught up in this one. Also, this one, the problem with the Hatchet movies is you have to watch Hatchet 1 and Hatchet 2 to get to a good movie that has callbacks to the movies you just watched. It's a vicious bullshit circle. Like, you could watch Hatchet 3. Just watch Hatchet 3. Don't watch 1 and 2. You won't get any of the jokes.
You won't get any of the jokes.
You won't get any of the jokes.
But you get the fully formed movie.
Right.
Like,
but you don't get the jokes, and you'll be like, what the fuck is that in joke? Who's that dead guy? Who was that guy in the boat? That didn't make any sense. Did I miss a scene?
Yeah.
No, it was in Hatchet 1. Which is honestly my favorite callback, is Ben's
He
alive.
pops.
I fucking love that.
See,
That really made my day when I finally saw it. I was like, Ben's alive? That's so fucked up.
Yep.
Oh, it's good. It's good. All right, but yes, this definitely is better than Hatchets 1 and 2, which is not saying much. Because neither Hatchet 1 nor Hatchet 2 are any good.
They are still heads above some of the 80s dreck that I have seen.
Sure. But this one is definitely more cohesive. It's shot like a movie. It feels like a movie. It looks like a movie. By God, folks, I think this is a fucking movie.
It's written.
Right? And we get some nice story, and we get some good wrap up. And it ends. It's over. It's done. And Adam Green was like, "It's done. It's over.
This trilogy's over, man.
I'm out of here. We're done. This is good." And he moves on. And so does the audience. But then they don't. The Hatchet Army is relentless. So, what do we know from what any weird financial corner stuff?
I can't find anything.
There isn't any.
Like, it had a limited U.S. release,
right?
Which I think was under 1,000 screens.
Shit. Fair enough.
There's nothing for it on IMDb, Box Office Mojo.
Wow.
I cannot find anything.
Damn. Fair enough. Well. All right.
But I think they went in knowing this. Like, this one is going to be built around the idea of DVD, Blu-ray, streaming from the get-go.
Right. From the get-go, yeah. So, wow. I mean, so that brings us to the end of the Hatchets.
The end of the Hatchets, man.
All kidding aside, we are, of course, going to be back next week.
Yeah.
Because Victor Crowley is, while not called Hatchet 4, is Hatchet 4.
I mean, it's a movie about Victor Crowley.
It is the 4th movie in the Hatchet series, and that's fine. It's fine. It's okay. So, final thoughts on Hatchet 3 before we wrap this up and move forward. What do you got?
It's a good close to this trilogy.
Yes.
It's well executed.
Uh-huh.
You actually, a bunch of the characters in this movie are not just fodder.
Right.
They are written like Cody.
Uh-huh.
You care about Cody.
Yeah.
You care about Andrew.
You don't care about him enough to know that his name is Schneiderman and not Cody. Cody's his real name, dude.
I don't care. He's Cody. Deputy. But you care about him.
Yeah.
You want to see him make it, as opposed to in the other movies where you're like, I want to see how all these people get ripped apart.
Right. And you do ultimately root for this iteration of Perry Shen to survive.
And
even though he's a gutless wonder who's trying to survive, you're like, no, I want you to survive. You're doing the right thing.
And there's
you're not a typical horror movie coward who's willing to sell somebody else out to survive. You're a legitimate person just trying to avoid the situation.
And there's
dig that.
There seems to be the groundwork of a beginning of a romance or something between Schneiderman and
yes,
like she and him. There's exchange. There's interplays. There's
and then nothing comes of it.
and then, because he dies.
Yes. Not much you can do about that one.
But yeah, this movie is executed well. I love it.
Yeah,
The first
I
time.
don't know about love it, but I don't hate it. I do enjoy it.
I love it.
I'll give you that one.
I don't. I gotta.
I'll allow the love.
I gotta. I can't.
I don't share it.
I can't watch that.
I do enjoy the movie. This is the first one that I walked out like, all right, this is good. If the other two were like this, I'd probably be more on board.
Yes, I like goofy zany.
Yeah.
So
sure.
that leads me to forgive a lot that you won't.
Right. This one's pretty goofy and zany.
No, I mean in the other two.
In
the other two.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my final thought. Is this is a well executed movie, and it's a perfect wrap out for a trilogy.
Indeed.
And,
I'll give you that.
And Adam Green is ready to move on from here.
I will. My final thought is that this is the movie I think Adam wanted to make at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I think he was finally able to deliver the movie he had in his head with this third iteration of it. And it works. If this is the movie he intended the first time around, I would have liked to have seen this the first time around.
Yeah.
I would almost like to have seen this divorced from the other two. But didn't get that because it is obviously a third chapter in a gruesome trilogy. But we will be back next week to see how and why this dead trilogy becomes a quadrilogy. I don't know how to...
Four
Four
movies.
movies. A four movie series. With a second title. What inspires that? Well, we'll be able to tell you next week. So I think that wraps us up for Hatchet 3.
This journey of the Honey Island Swamp Tour is done, folks. Join us next week.
Indeed.
For Honey Island Swamp Tours.
For Honey Island Swamp Tours, I have been Matthew Blanchard.
I've been Patrick Blanchard.
And once again, you've been great. We've been diving down. Good night.
We don't need a reason, we got good ambition. If you don't believe us, we can make it another road. But nothing can stop our rock and roll. Policy, the policy.
Fuck the reboot. Fuck the reboot.
Fuck, motherfucker, noise.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to go on record since I'm on mic and we're recording right now. There is one Thomas Sullivan Magnum. And that is Tom Selleck. Period. End of sentence.
Although realistically, we are far enough removed
I don't give a shit.
from Iraq, just as it was far enough removed
Don't
from
give a shit.
Vietnam that there could be a new Magnum for a new generation if done
There
correctly.
is one Thomas Sullivan Magnum, and his name is Tom Selleck. If you want to do a new Magnum PI, that's fine. Get yourself a new Magnum. Magnum would have a kid by now.
That was the original idea, but
Yeah, but instead they decided
scrubbed
to
it.
make him Thomas Magnum and have him have a TC and have a Rick and have a Higgins. Fuck that noise. Fuck that noise.